Hey guys, it's Lee. So you're fixing to see a video of me working on this pressure washer. I mean, pretty much it's a fail. I'm just looking for help right now. I went through all the steps I know to go through to get one started. And look, I mean, I've got hundreds of mowers, small engines running by doing this. So this is kind of unique for me. The only one engine I couldn't ever get started that it was real similar to this, it was low compression. I didn't have a compression tester, and I could tell by the pull, it's an older engine, and I could tell on the pull cord, it didn't have a whole lot, so I borrowed a tester, and it was pretty low, and we decided that was what it was, just need a new engine. But this, I don't really think that's that way because it's new, and the oil level's been good. So anyway, so this video was me asking help for suggestions of what I need to do next. I went through it's got spark, fuel, compression, adjusted the valves, the keyway, the key on the shaft is not damaged. So I don't know, I'm about running out of ideas. So comment on here and help me out. Hey guys, it's Lee. So today, I'm gonna present this a little different. I got a pressure washer, but mainly what I'm working on is a small engine, and I'm gonna show you the steps I take to diagnose a small engine to get it running. Now, this is a buddy, Nick, of mine from church. He knew I was working on small engines for fun, and he said, hey, you wanna look at this pressure washer? Sure. Well, the first thing I noticed, Nick, it's out of gas. Now, you know, Swing Blade, you know, in that movie, I don't know the name of the movie, but he looks at it and he says, it's out of gas. Well, hopefully it's not that simple, but I'm gonna put gas in it, and then we're going to pull and see if we can't get it started just that way. All right, I'm not gonna put a whole lot in there. So the switch is on, it's on and off. I turn the choke on, the fuel's on. There's no primer bulb here. I'm just gonna look around. So first thing we're gonna do is just see if it starts. Obviously it probably won't. And let me move it to solid ground. I'm gonna pull it about 5 or 6 times. So I'm gonna spray choke and parts cleaner. Same as starting fluid in my book. Spray it right here in the carburetor. See what happens now. So it didn't kick over putting starting fluid in there. So the next thing I'm after is spark. This is a spark tester. And this, if it's got spark, this is kind of like a LED bulb in there, I guess, and it will light up. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. All right, so I'm in the shop where I can see spark tester better. So this is the spark plug boot, and I plugged it into here. Well, let me just show you how this works. So this is the normal setup, spark plug. So this goes in there, and then that goes on spark plug. And so what we're looking at is right in here. We're looking for light, a little LED bulb. All right, so be looking right here. So it's got spark. Can you see it? So there's 3 things that make up the engine to run. And what they are, one is compression. And that's when you pull on the pull cord and you have resistance. You know, right there. You know, when you pull it, it's kind of hard to pull. That's compression. You got to have that. The other is right here, you got to have spark. And your spark plug. There's a coil on here that goes through the flywheel. And this kill wire, if it was disconnected or something wrong with it, then that could mess up your fire. But I got fire. So the other component is fuel. And that's, look, 90% of the time, that's what it is. I was a little surprised that it didn't start for a second with that starting fluid, so I'm gonna try it again. I really think it's just a carburetor issue. Well, for some reason it's not starting on starting fluid, but I really think it's in that carburetor somewhere because I got fire and I got compression. So all I know to do is take that carburetor apart and see what we run into. I mean, it might just be plugged up. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna put you on time lapse. I'm gonna crack into this carburetor and see what happens.
Alright, so we got it off, and I'm just going to take it apart. Whoa, hit the camera. Make sure it's still in place. Yep, you can see me. Take it apart, see what we got. Air compressor. I'm going to run it through here, because that's the main jet. Run it through here, make sure it comes out here. Run it through here, here, and here. And there. See, that's clean as a pin. Nothing wrong with that.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. It's already in there. The reason I'm doing it is because that main jet, when I put the air compressor on it, a little bit of air was coming out the back, but I didn't think it was flowing like it should. And so I'm gonna just take my time, run it through there several times and clean it out. Okay, so the carburetor's clean. We're getting fire. It's got good compression. So now I took this valve cover off. Let me find it. You know, it's just the valve cover was on right here. You know, I got the thing leaning down. And so it's just 4 bolts, 10 millimeter. Took that off. And these are your valves. And based on my internet search, it's supposed to be a gap right here and here of, I think I pulled out the right one, 4 thousandths gap. Now, so I went over here on this side. And let me zoom you in. So I went on this side. Oh, and I'm at top dead center. So what you want to do is take the pull cord. Take your pull cord in this lobe on this arm is pointing straight up. Now, another way you can tell is take the spark plug out and have the piston all the way up. That lets you know your top dead center is where you do your test at. So anyway, so we're there, and I got 4 thousandths on a feeler gauge, and I'm putting it in here. Look, and I'm getting, it just wants to feel snug right here, and it does on this right side. But on the side of the exhaust side, it's not. There's a little play in there. It's not bad off, but it's not touching. So I'm going to loosen this nut up. This is a 9 mil. Loosen the nut up a little bit. Then I'm going to take this and just tighten it down. Let's see. Let me get my feeler gauge back in there. I want to tighten. That down. All right, now that I can feel it now. It didn't take much. I'm going to leave it in there. Right there. Tighten that nut back up. Just want to snug it down. That feeler gauge feels better on both sides. So I don't know that that's it. I'm honestly, I'm a little stumped on what this could be, because I've adjusted valves on mowers a lot. Never had to on a pressure washer. Oop. That's what everything looks like in there. That's the one we just did. That one was okay. Exhaust sides here. This lobe is straight up. That's where you want to test it at. So now that I got it in there, I'm going to pull on the pull cord. This whole thing's going to move. See, I think, see, these move up and down. I don't know, so I'm going to put it back together and see if it helps any. So the next thing I'm going to try is this keyway. Let's see if I can get a shot. See, I don't know where the slide is on the shaft. I'm moving it here. I can see the key, but I don't know where it's supposed to be on the shaft. And if it broke loose, it might spin under pressure. So I'm going to try to get this off and see if I can take a look at that closer. The spark plug gets spark. You know, I got this spark plug tester, and I was getting spark here, so all that's good. Carburetor's good. I even tested the switch. It's good. You know, I'm getting gas and all that. And when you pull the pull cord, it has a little, it don't backfire, but it does a little backfire, which makes me think this pin had sheared. So you can't tell by looking at it here if it's sheared or not, because you can see that pin right there. You can see it, but you don't know where it broke off the shaft. If that's what happened, I don't even know if that's what happened. I'm just going through and eliminating problems. So, you know, if that pin sheared, it'd be a timing issue. And that's what it kind of sounds like, a timing issue. The timing belt's still on and it looks good and tight. I adjusted the valves. So anyway, this video, so I have a flywheel puller, but the one I have has to have 2 bolts that screw into the flywheel. So what I have done, of course, this is where the key's at. And I took a pencil and I marked it right there, because, you know, once I pull this up, it's probably going to be out of whack. Of course, you'll probably be able to see it. But anyway, there's the key. There's my mark. So let's see what it looks like. I don't have any reason to believe that the flywheel key is sheared, because usually the only time I've ever seen it's like on a push mower when you hit a rock. Not even on a riding mower, because if you hit a rock on a riding mower, you got all the belts to go through, and it's not a real big impact on the flywheel. But on a push mower, it is. I mean, that blade's hooked right to the shaft. You hit a rock, then that's common on those. I have no reason to believe why this would shear a flywheel, but I'm just going through the whole thing. I'm trying to go through everything I know to do. So let's pull it up and see what that key looks like. All right, so here we are. I got the magnet over here away from the coil, and I'm gonna try to come straight up with it. Now let's see. There it is. And the key looks fine. So there's your flywheel key. I mean, it's intact, it's good. You know, it lines up with that mark I made. So that's not what my problem is, so I'm gonna put it back on. All right, so that's the end of the video. I have kind of, hadn't given up, but I don't know what else to do. You saw all the steps I took. Now, the only thing I don't have is a compression tester. So maybe I need to go get one and check that out. But it feels tight in my hand with the pull cord. So that's why I'm assuming, and it's pretty new. So it'd be odd, and the oil level was normal and all that when I first got it. So anyway, comment and tell me something else to try, because I don't really want to give up on it. Thanks.